Part 1 of my book, Declining Birth Rates, Empty Cradles, is below. If you're reading this, you sense something big is happening. Global fertility falls from 4.9 children per woman in the 1950s to 2.3 by 2023. The United States recorded only 3.6 million births in 2023, a 45-year low. Americans have an average of 1.6 births per woman, which is below the 2.1 needed for population stability. Without that replacement rate, populations shrink unless immigration fills the gap. By 2100, 97% of countries will have birth rates too low to sustain their populations. Japan loses 800,000 people each year. South Korea's rate is 0.72 births per woman, the world's lowest. Italy, Spain, and much of Eastern Europe face steep declines. China's population peaked in 2022 and is now falling. Elon Musk thrust this issue into the spotlight. On the All In podcast in May 2022, he warned, "If people don't have more children, civilization will crumble. Mark my words." He repeats this on X, in Wall Street Journal interviews, and on Fox News with Tucker Carlson. When a Mars-bound innovator sounds the alarm, people pay attention. This book delivers clear facts and relevant analysis to help you understand the decline for yourself. Some chapters may challenge your assumptions or reveal uncomfortable truths. Awareness forms the first step toward meaningful solutions. You'll explore the numbers, the policies, and the hidden forces shaping our future. I grew up in a nuclear family and raised 3 children who are now successful adults. I'm a proud grandfather. I won't favor one family model over another. The world is full of diverse households. I focus on biological basics. XX and XY chromosomes, with XX individuals bearing children unless they use assisted reproduction. In vitro fertilization, or IVF, combines eggs and sperm in a lab before uterine transfer. It helps many couples, but honestly fails to reverse global fertility decline. After World War II, experts predicted a world population of 20 billion by 2025. Instead, nations imposed strict population controls. China's one-child rule from 1979 to 2015 capped most families at 1 child and triggered millions of forced abortions and sterilizations. India followed in the 1970s with mass sterilizations during the emergency period. In 1973, Roe v. Wade legalized abortion nationwide. The UK followed in 1967, France in 1975, Germany in 1976, and Italy in 1978. Governments also used sterilization programs to target marginalized communities. In the United States, the Reagan administration oversaw the sterilizations of 8,000 Native American women, often without full consent. Roma women in Czechoslovakia and Hungary endured forced sterilization through the 1990s. In Peru, state-run campaigns sterilized over 200,000 indigenous women in the 1990s. These policies left lasting scars and really profoundly impacted millions of lives. The AIDS crisis and the rise of sexually transmitted diseases made headlines in the 1980s and 90s. In sub-Saharan Africa, HIV and AIDS slashed life expectancy and orphaned millions of children. In the United States and Europe, fear of transmission reshaped sexual behavior and family planning. Britain's contaminated pooled plasma infected over 30,000 people with HIV or hepatitis C and killed at least 3,000. France and Libya faced similar blood scandals when suppliers failed to heat treat plasma until the late 1980s. These tragedies devastated families, accelerated early deaths, and contributed to falling birth rates. As fertility dropped, governments introduced cash incentives. Australia launched a baby bonus in 1912 and revived it in the 2000s, paying up to $5,000 per child. Canada, France, Singapore, and Poland added tax breaks and paid parental leave. France maintained a fertility rate of around 1.8 births per woman. In contrast, Singapore's rate fell to 1.05. Sweden, Norway, and Germany now offer paid parental leave to both parents, often for a year or more. Estonia and Finland provide generous leave to support family growth and gender equality. Japan and South Korea expanded paid leave policies, hoping to reverse their plunging fertility rates. Despite these efforts, most countries continue to struggle to sustainably boost their birth rates. Some nations, saw only brief rises in births and learned that cash alone won't solve the crisis. In 2025, Donald Trump proposed a $5,000 baby bonus for every new mother, with larger grants for families of 6 or more children. Supporters said it would help struggling households and prove that children matter. But critics called the plan naive and out of touch, arguing that affordable childcare, paid leave, and a stronger economy would yield lasting results. The partisan debate unleashed the next phase of the culture war over reproduction. At its core, the world needs babies, not for nostalgia, but honestly, for survival. If the United States birth rate stays at 1.6, the population will shrink without immigration. The Biden administration admitted over 10 million immigrants from nations with higher fertility, such as Guatemala with 2.3 births per woman, Nigeria with 5.3, India with 2.0, and the Philippines with 2.7. Immigrants often have more children, at least for one generation, helping slow the decline. Some policymakers see this strategy as a solution, but it raises questions about integration, culture, and long-term trends. Children grow up to become workers, leaders, and caretakers. Fewer kids mean fewer innovators, helpers, and caregivers for aging populations. A shrinking cohort threatens pensions, health care, and economic growth. Newborns form the next wave of creators, builders, and dreamers who drive progress. Without them, support systems fail, and societies, they lose momentum. Some argue that artificial intelligence and robots will replace human labor, reducing the need for people. Automation will transform the workforce, but no machine can match human care, creativity, and connection. Communities still require people to innovate, govern, and nurture one another. The challenge extends beyond numbers to the heart of the human community and culture. Throwing money at the fertility crisis won't solve it. Studies show affordable childcare, flexible work schedules, and generous parental leave drive lasting change. One-time payments rarely move the needle. Countries now test bold ideas. Hungary pays families for 3 or more children. South Korea offers free fertility treatments. Japan hosts matchmaking events. Singapore promotes National Night to encourage conception. Most books on declining birth rates focus on economic and social pressures that shrink families. They highlight the burden of housing, education, and childcare costs. They examine how prosperity and urbanization reshape family size. They stress women's education, workforce participation, and access to contraception. They note delayed marriage, evolving gender roles, voluntary childlessness, and urban living as central themes. Beyond these common themes, this book uncovers hidden threats that governments and most authors ignore. We examine environmental toxins, chemical exposure, premature deaths, DNA changes, brain shrinkage, obesity, and the impact of COVID-19 on fertility. You'll learn how pesticides, air pollutants, heavy metals, and water contaminants sabotage reproduction and stunt development. We detail rising suicide rates, overdose, deaths, autism spikes, stillbirths, and chemical or metal poisoning. Air pollution is linked to a 30% higher autism risk and a 20% rise in stillbirths, per a 2023 Lancet study. Mercury and lead poisoning in infants cause severe cognitive impairments and hamper fertility across generations. Chemical contaminants persist for decades, contributing to long-term population decline and the development of chronic illnesses. I aim to present clear evidence, challenge assumptions, and fill in the missing pieces of the puzzle. Many factors remain hidden, and our picture of the future remains incomplete. Understanding these forces is the first step toward real solutions. If you care about tomorrow, for yourself, your children, or your grandchildren, this book is for you. Let's explore the truth behind the numbers and discover what lies at stake. For the other 10 chapters, check out my Amazon book link in the comments section.